Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. CQ, the old friends. It is time for the Tuesday session of the old friends get together. And this is W4MEC, Mike Echo Charlie, in Henderson County, North Carolina, your net control station for today. I think I said that. And the old friends net is a old-fashioned round table style net carried out in the amplitude modulation mode, and all forms of station equipment is invited to join us while we do prefer the vintage, and hope you're trying to get a piece of vintage gear on the air. The latest and greatest solid state rig is welcome. It's a great place to look for some gear or sell gear, or trying to find a part for something, or a bit of information about fixing something. We meet 3 times a week. Sundays at 4, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 on this frequency all the time, 3715. Let's see what else. So, did I say that for? I think so. So I will take check-ins and get everybody in a nice, neat row, and we will carry on from there. So those wishing to participate, please give W4MEC a call. Come now.
N4LQ.
K4GDN.
KN4R.
WB4ARK.
AZ4 Bravo.
WB4NKL.
November.
YBS to you.
K4 VWD.
Okay, let me see if I sorted out the doubling here correctly. I think I still missed one. We've got Steve, N4LQ, George, K4GDN, Brian, KN4R, Buddy, WB4ARK, John, KZ4B, Cliff, WB4NKL, Stefan, NC4ON, Muir, WF2U, and Lee, K4VWD. Who else and who did I miss?
K3OS.
Alpha.
We got Gary. Anybody else?
Oh, ISWR 85SM.
I missed that. Please come again.
Alpha Delta 5 Sierra X-ray.
Okay, I got Paul. Oops, wait a minute here. The microphone just fell apart. I got Paul. Anybody else? Okay, that was AB5CX at the end there. So again, the list, and this is the order. And please make a note who's at least before you and after you, so you know what's coming and where it's going to go after you're done. So we've got LQ, GDN, 4R, ARK, 4 Bravo, not ZB, NKL, ON, 2U, VWD, OS, and CX. So let's get started, and good morning, everybody. It's a dreary, overcast day here, 35 degrees. I think they're supposed to get colder tonight, but so far they've been wrong about the guesstimation on the snow and the rain and ice, so that's good. Let's see if they can get 1 out of 4 with the temperature. Let's hope they miss it, actually. I don't need 11 degrees or whatever it's supposed to go to. So anyway, let's get started with, wonder where Dave is today. Probably, I don't know, propane emergency. Pick it up, Steve. N4LQ in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC, N4LQ. Yeah, I don't know where Dave is. He was not on the early net this morning either. But anyway, it's 37 degrees here in Shelby, and I am running the AF-67 Elmac and driving the amplifier to about 275 watts and the horizontal loop antenna. And everybody sounded good this morning. I think we're going to have a good net. So let's keep it going to George on the beach. K4GDN, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ is the group, it's K4GDN. And I may sound a little under the weather. I got a sinus infection, but I think I'm getting over it. I'm running the Ranger 2 this morning into the attenuator, feeding that to the 3001. This is the first time I've had the 3001 on with real AM. And I guess I'm putting out about, maybe 200, 245 watts carrier, something like that. Not pushing it real hard. And the band seems to be in pretty good shape. I'm getting a lot of static crashes, though, so I guess we're getting ready for rain here this afternoon. It's in the mid-50s now, but we're supposed to get some rain. And then later on this week, it's supposed to get down below 20 at night, so that's fine with me. I don't have a problem with the cold weather. So with that, let's see. Okay, goes to Brian. KN4R in the group, K4GDN.
Yeah, okay, George, very good. Good morning to all. K4GDN, the old military, the old Friends Net. This is Brian, KN4R, Cheryl's Ford, where it's 37 degrees and solid overcast, and it's drizzling just lightly, and doesn't look like any wind at the moment. So, Steve, AF-67 sounds great. Don't hear any hum. And George, the Ranger 2 also sounds great in the 3001 there. So I'm using the Globe, the Hummy Globe Champ, 350 here, a couple hundred watts maybe, and listening on the old Hummy HRO. So over to you, buddy. How's it down there? WB4ARK in the group, KN4R.
KN4R, WB4ARK. Okay, Brian. Well, everybody's signal is quite strong today, except I think Paul, AD5, was a little weak. And K3OS. It's overcast here, raining, and I've been working on a 75 S3B Collins unit, and it's got an audio issue, so we're struggling with that right now, trying to figure out why the audio is jacked up so high with the pot on 0. So we'll get it tamed here soon. Guess that's about it for right now. I'll send it over to KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK in the group. This is KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, buddy. We're handles John. QTH is on Lake Norman on the Mooresville side. The rig is a Knight T150 screen grid modulated transmitter driving a Ameritron AL1500 linear, in turn driving a AT5K tuner, in turn driving a lateral line to a double extended ZEP 200 feet end to end. It is fizzling here, but no frozen precipitation, which is great, because my wife needs to go eat breakfast with her friends, and we don't want to see her sliding all over the place. So, Cliff, take it away. WB4 NKL, KZ4B over.
KZ4B is WB4 NKL. Hey, John. Name here is Cliff, located in Limestone, Tennessee.
And today I'm running a Collins 32 V3, but I'm running into a dipole that's coax fed and kept for 3885 into about a 3-to-1 standing wave or more. So I'm surprised that anybody's hearing me, but like I say, everybody I'm receiving good. Everybody's coming in good here. We got about 2 inches of snow on the ground and 24 degrees, so it's a little too cold to heat up the outside shack, and so I guess I'll be stuck with the basement rig here for at least through Saturday. They're calling for a -4 Saturday early, so I'm not looking forward to that. It's cold all week. Today's high is 24, so I'll send it on to Stefan if you can copy. NC4ON, WB4NKL.
Yeah, Roger, Cliff, WB4NKL in the group NC4ON. I copy you loud and clear, no problem. Excellent sounding station you have there. So good morning to everybody. 39 degrees here in Denver at the moment, a little bit rain, but it's not too cold, so happy to be here. Happy New Year to all of you. This is my first time here on the Transnet this year, and I copy everybody loud and clear except for Paul there. I didn't get the call. I think it was AB5 Charlie X, but all the rest stations are coming in through 5, so no problem. I think I have to send it over to Mayor WFTU in the group NC4ON. Take it away.
Roger, NC4ON and the net. This is WF2U. Good morning, all. And signals are booming in. Interestingly enough, the noise level is not high, a little bit of static, but it's about S5, between S5 and sometimes 4. There's a little QSB on some stations, but anyway, I'm using the Eastkit DX100 Bravo, putting out a 100 watts carrier, and I think the modulation is set correctly. Looking at the modulation plate current, modulator plate current here, it's in the right range. And receiving on the National NC300 receiver, and the antenna is the 80 meter end-fed half wave, about 45 feet, and it's 38 degrees at the moment here, and it's raining and drizzling interchangeably since early, I think probably about 4 a.m. And so far we didn't get much of an accumulation, but everything is wet according to my digital weather station rain gauge. I'm reading here 0.03 inches since the start, so it hasn't been raining really hard. Temperature, of course, is expected to go down by the evening considerably. And everybody has great reports here, so I'll list the ones that transmitted so far. Charlie, you are 40 dB overnight. Steve, you have a little QSB on you between 30 to 50 is the end of my S-meter here, and you sometimes speaking up at 50 dB overnight. George, about 10 dB overnight, 9, nice signal with a low QSB. Brian, 30 over 9, relatively steady. Buddy, you are speaking up to 40 over 9, and with a little QSB up and down. John, you are between 20 over 9 to 40 over 9 on peaks. Cliff, 30 over 9. have a great signal there. And Stefan, you are 30 over 9. So I'll give reports later. So back to you there, K4VWD, this is WF to you.
Okay, Mir, thank you. This is K4VWD. Greenville, South Carolina, AF-68, PMR-8, feeding a Bandit amplifier, ladder line going through a 10-tech tuner to a 138.5 foot dipole. And talking about Dave missing, I think I heard Dave say yesterday in the North Carolina group that he had to take his wife to a doctor this morning. And I think that's where Dave is. So it's good to hear everybody. Light rain here, like I say, 39 degrees. So let's see, goes to Gary. K3OS in the group, K4VWD.
Okay, Lee, K4VWD in the group K3OS. I'm a cloudy hickory this morning, where I find that I think the high temperature, I think today is going to be about 40 here. And that's going to be 11 o'clock this morning, and then it's going to drop down into the teens from there. So we've got a few days of crispy weather here. It's helping everybody really well this morning. I'm running the 6077A transmitter, and my watt meter, believe it or not, says close to 50 watts. I find that hard to believe, but that's what it says. I've got 2 watt meters in line here. One is reading about 48, the other is reading about 50. So here's my question for you guys. I'm rebuilding an ICO 720, for those of you who remember that lovely radio, which will be paired up with a 730 modulator, which I also have, thanks to Cliff. Anyway, so I'm working on the 720 and doing some cleanup and some lead dressing and shortening up some capacitor leads that are just, for whatever reason, whoever built the thing, and I know the guy's first name because he signed it. So Danny in 1962 built the radio. Whoever did. But he felt that the capacitors that came with an inch and a half lead, well, I'm going to use it all. So I'm trying to shorten up some of those that are obviously a little bit too long, particularly in the RM section. But here's the question. I want to try to rebuild the caps, the 2 caps in there. They look pretty good. I'd like to rebuild it in place. The question is, can I bring up, I've never tried it, can I bring up like a 5R4 with uses, starting, let's say, at about 50 volts line current, or because that tube at that point doesn't have full filament voltage, am I just asking for trouble and should use kind of like a solid state replacement just to try to rebuild it up and then put the tube back in for normal use? That would be my question. And Paul, clear up your call. I'm going to pass it to you. Is it CXDXSX on it? 85CX. Take it away, K3OS.
Oh gosh, I'm tripping it. Hang on a second. Okay, let's see. Let's see if that did it. Okay, good morning everyone. This is, clear up the call sign. It's Alpha Delta 5 Sierra X-ray, and I'm running a modern rig. I don't have any cool stuff like you guys have, and we just moved here. The name is Paul, Alpha Delta 5 Sierra X-ray once again, and I think I'm getting out a little bit better right now, but we just moved here somewhere around 6 weeks ago, and my antenna is absolutely puny, and but it's a while that I got up. It's actually a inverted V, and but it's not what it's going to be after we're here for a while, and priorities shift to a bigger setup. But right, I say that because it's a low priority. We've got to get furniture still moved in here. Yeah, we're currently 38 degrees right now. Oh, by the way, I'm running the Elmac K3 that I assembled 13 years ago, and running it through a solid-state amplifier that doesn't like to work with me all the time. And the matchbox is Pulsar, what is it, Alpha Tango 1 KP. So anyway, this is stuff that I've collected over the years. Been a ham since 1983, but I was working a lot during those years too, so didn't have, and staying and living in a HOA down there in Southeast Florida. We're pretty tight on, couldn't even have a American flag or any flag in your front yard, so pretty weird. But anyway, that's what's happening here, and I hope I got my call sign out okay. And I only rapidly put down LQ as a station I have to pass it to. So can you give me a full call sign, please? And I'll be around for the other round until I get yanked out of here to do honeydews. The station ending in LQ, go ahead and pick it up. This is 85SX.
I think I'll take it instead. AB5SX, this is W4MEC. Okay, fellas, any other check-ins that would like to join us, come now.
W4WU.
Got you, Richard. Anybody else? Okay, Richard, W4WU, and Paul, AC5SX, you will turn it to Richard, W4WU, Whiskey Uniform on the next go-around. Pick it up there, Richard, W4MEC.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Good morning to everybody. It's a rainy day down here in Cowpens this morning, and let's see, about 39 degrees, so it's not too bad. Rig here I've changed around a little bit, so I'm transmitting on the 32V3, and then I'm receiving on the 75A4, and of course the normal MFAT halfway of antenna out there. Looks like I'm putting out a little bit over 200 watts this morning, and let's see a change of range on the watt meter and see what it says. Yeah, 330 watts. Let me see what his carrier. It says about 200. Anyway, somewhere in that range. You might comment, those of you who heard me last Thursday can remember how this radio sounds compared to that one. The other was the Valiant 2. And this is the 32V3. Got this one from over at Jim, K4DEE stuff. We moved a lot of his stuff out a while back. Anyway, turning on back to the group. Charlie, back to you. W4MEC, W4WU.
Very good, Richard. W4WU, W4MEC. Any further check-ins for round number 2? Nothing heard. This is W4MEC. And the old friend's net. I forgot to give my station information. And I think Buddy's showing up because he's waiting for the day I get that R13 on the air. Well, I'm still running my Heathkit twins here, the Apache TX1, Mohawk RX1, and a Heathkit 2040 tuner to window line and a dipole at 55 feet. So, real good round. Everybody coming in great. George, too. A couple of comments real quick, Paul. Now, if you're looking for a vintage rig, there's several of them for sale on the net. I know that Steve's got a nice one, and so does George. And with a trip to the monthly Old Friends Lunch, he can be delivered for you to handily pick up and return to QTH and set up and get on the air. So you might consider that. And get a vintage rig on the air there. So I know Tom, WA4FJQ, has very limited space, and he finally worked in a Elmac AF-68 into his station there to get a vintage rig on there, but it was like I had to pull a 2x4 out of the wall to fit it in there or something. But so anyway, my other comment was something Gary said. about using the leads that were not terminating the leads. I got an old Heath kit. I can't remember if it was AR2 or AR3. You know, the little receiver they made, one of their early broadcast receiver. I think the AR3 had a shortwave band or two in it. And when I opened it up, that guy did not own a pair of wire cutters either, and I don't think he owned a pair of needle nose pliers, because everything was in there. And if you had a terminal on a terminal strip, all the parts were poked into one side, all the leads were dead straight, and then you just soldered the whole glob in there. And transformer leads, anything. And but what I was impressed about when he did it was that he was able to get all those components in there with all those long leads, and he positioned every single one of them so none of them shorted out to anything. So he was good at keeping things from rubbing together there. And I still have that radio, and I did the same thing. I went through it, cleaned it up. You know. And let's see, the comment about using the rig as a voltage source, I have done that, and use a Variac, and it's amazed how little AC it'll take for that filament to heat up and then start making DC. So, but I have done that, and but I've always checked all the B plus with a meter, you know, just to make sure you don't have any dead shorts, and you do see some kick on the capacitors and all that. But after that, I have tried. I have turned it up to a Variac very slowly, and with the 5U4 or a filament rectifier. So anyway, so let's get going around again. And I think Lee was right. I think he mentioned Dave did mention something about an appointment. So all right, N4LQ in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC, this is N4LQ. November 4, Lima, Quebec. Steve and Shelby. And well, that was a good round, and let's see. First of all, a comment to George on your sinus. You sound better on your Ranger 2. Last week, you were kind of distorted, but now with the sinus problem, you sound very good. I don't know, maybe it's my receiver, but I like it better. And fine buddy on working on the little extra audio problem on the Collins. And John, KZ4B, I tell you that 150 has beautiful audio. I'm still looking for one. If I can manage to dig one up somewhere, I will buy one, maybe. So let's see, Cliff, no problems on your 32V, sounds great. Making it over this way just fine. Gary, I think you said something about it was a little bit hard to copy, and I know you probably know as much about electronics as anybody on here, so I'm not too worried about it. Just plug it in, turn it on. If it blows up, it was probably going to blow up anyway and needed to be flushed out. And let's see, Richard, that 32V3 sounds absolutely awful. And I think you just need to get rid of it, and just let me know when to be there, and I'll pick that up, and I may even pay you for it. I don't know. So let's see, anything else here? Oh, Lee, I've got your power supply done, ready to go, and I need to get it back to you somehow. If anybody is going between Shelby and Greenville, we can arrange that. I can meet somebody, or I can just put it in the car and take it down there. I really don't want to ship it because I just figure UPS will tear it up or something. So be thinking about that, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. K4GDN, N4LQ.
N4LQ in the groups, K4GDN. And hold on just a second, let me check something. Yeah, I had to go to the other side of the room and check the one. I'm running maybe 200, 225 watts out of it. not a whole lot more than I get out of my homebrew 811 with just two 811s. And I'm receiving on a black HRO 5 A1. This is early post-war. And everybody seems to be coming in pretty good. I'm getting a lot of static crashes, though. Must be we get ready for the rain this afternoon. I'm going to say 73 on this round, but I'm going to listen to the end in case there's any comments there. So, Brian, coming to you. KN4R the group, K4GDN.
Okay, George, very good. K4GDN and the old friends. This is Brian, KN4R, Cheryl's Ford. Well, George, hope you get over the sinus infection, and terrific on using an HRO 5A1 there with your Ranger 2 and 30L1. Sounds great. All the rigs sound great. And Paul, I can really tell you've got that solid state amplifier going, so glad to hear that. And Richard, I'll have to second Steve's comments about that 32B3 sounding wonderful. So, and John, same with your T150. So, let's see, nothing new here. Brown, W1NZR is going to come over here and spend a night sometime this week. We got to go down to South Carolina and pick up a big Collins amplifier for him. And let's see, I've been busy testing some remote software, so I have my 7610 working remote, and it's a lot of fun, and just trying to learn how to use the various modes. So that's about it for me. So over to you, buddy. WB4ARK in the group, KN4R.
KN4R, WB4ARK. Okay, Brian. Well, all the signals were fairly strong on that round. No weak stations at all. And Paul, your signal has come up considerably after you made an adjustment there. I don't know what you did, but maybe you turned on your amp. I would, as far as bringing the transmitter up, I would do the same thing that Charlie said, put it on a variac and just apply voltage until I see the B plus start to rise. That way you know the high voltage rectifier is conducting filament wise, and just bring it up in small stages. Actually, that's better on the filter capacitors that haven't been energized for quite some time, and because some of them will get pretty warm when you start off, and it's good to keep them from internally shorting, and you might be able to salvage a otherwise good filter capacitor that might be kind of marginal at the beginning there. Well, it's 38 degrees here, and looking for some pretty cold weather coming this way this week. So I think I will stay in as much as possible and work on equipment. Yeah, this transmitter started off with a bad tube, and hasn't gotten much better since then. It's got a large amount of audio output with no audio level control turned up, so it would be normal for me with the audio control at 0. So we got to figure out what's going on there, and it's not in the audio tube circuit. It's not in the audio pot gain circuit. So we got to figure out what's going on with that. and get it back to the owner. Well, I'm going to say 73 on this round. And Charlie, thanks for doing the net, and thanks for doing the net the last time that you did it, which I did not thank you for. Yes, I'm still waiting on the ART-13 power-up. I hope that will come sometime soon before it goes out of warranty. Just kidding. Anyhow, let's see what else we had. The modulation on Mir's unit sounds good. Sound like you've got that covered. And so we'll say 73 from here, but we'll listen to the end. So passing it on to KZ4B, WB4 ARK.
Okay, WB4 ARK in the group. This is KZ4 Bravo. I should be a little stronger now, to say the very least. I forgot to turn the amplifier back on. I was checking my frequency and I didn't want to step on anybody. Buddy, you always have a great signal and great audio. It's consistently fantastic. So enjoy listening to it. And Steve and Brian, thank you for the compliments on my audio. The change will do me good. And I have told some of you this, but when it comes to that T150, I bought it sight unseen. It was wrapped up heavily in cellophane. I bought it in order to junk it and steal the tank coil out of it and put in my Globe Chief Deluxe, which has the worst tank coil in any transmitter ever made for its output. And when I unwrapped it, it was physically mint, but it had all sorts of electrical warts, which is why the guy sold it to me for $35. So we've gotten the warts straightened out, and it looks like a new one. So for the first time in my life, I stole something unintentionally. Well, that's not. I also stole an 8877 when the guy sold me a box for an 8877 with a bad 8877 in it that wasn't bad. And he said it was shorted on 2 pins, which happened to be the fault. So I have gotten lucky from time to time. Charlie, if either you or Steve, because you're coming in great, would relay Gary K3OS's, he had a question that sounded like maybe something to do with the rectifier in his 720 ICO transmitter. Last QSO on Sunday, Gary was one of the strongest stations, and today there's very heavy QS Baker on a lot of people, very rapid flutter, and Gary is down in the mud, and normally Gary is totally Q5, so appreciate the relay if anybody understands the question. And let's see, what else? Oh, Richard, W4WU, your audio sounds fantastic too. Great signal. And I have been to Cowpens. I love military history, and to me, even though Yorktown was the coup de grace on the British, the worm turned at Cowpens big time, and to me that's one of the most important engagements in the Revolutionary War. Great story there. let's see. I guess that's about it. So, Cliff, look out, it's coming your way. WB4NKL and the group KZ4B, over.
Okay, John, KZ4B, WB4NKL. Good copy all the way around. And Richard, the 32V3 you're running sounds great. That's what I'm running here today, into high standing waves, but it's evidently getting out, so that's good. Just throw away those SWR meters, don't pay any attention to them. And John, that T150 sounds great too. I've got one that's pristine, and it makes power, but I just never have had it on the air, so I'm gonna have to get that one out. And we had a guy check in with a HT40 that I've got one of those two I hadn't had on the air. A lot of transmitters I need to cycle through sometime, check them out. Gary, you talking about the kit with the long leads, I've seen that too. I don't know whether they were just trying to save parts for reuse or what, but I've seen that too in some of the kits. Or maybe they, like Charlie said, didn't own a pair of dikes or end cutters. And I have what you were talking about. I have some solid state replacements I usually stick in there to bring them up, and instead of doing it with the tubes. That's what I usually do, but I guess it'd work either way. But it seems like you got more control. You can start out the lower voltage with the solid state rectifiers without putting a big strain on the tubes. I'll say 73s too. Been in the basement since about 7:30, so I'm gonna get out of here and see what's going on in the real world. So 73s, and thanks for calling it, Charlie. Go ahead, Stefan. NC4ON, it's WB4NKL.
Yeah, Roger, Cliff, 100% copy, WB4 NKL and the group NC4ON. All right, well, I'm going to make this my last one as well, and got a lot of things to cover here this morning, but I wanted to take advantage of being at home today and be able to maybe attend a little bit the old Friends Net, so that's what I did. So thank you for calling it, Charlie. Wish everybody a great rest of your week, and hope to be back on Thursday. So I'll send it over to Mayor, and then I'll WF2U in the group NC4ON. 73s, guy.
Roger, NC4ON and the net, this is WF2U. Yeah, excellent copy on everybody, and Stefan, have a good afternoon. Take care. Good morning or good day, and we'll talk to you either on 160 or here. You sounded good. And yeah, indeed, John, the T150 sounds pretty good and really natural and nice audio. So, oh, buddy, 73 to you too, although you're listening. Thanks for the audio report, because I was really interested in getting a report, make sure that this thing is working properly. Now, I have to take apart the connector and probably the cable of the other Turner test mic that was causing problems the other day. And I have right next to me, I have a D104 among the stash of several D104s that does not have a connector on it, but it's good. Tested it, so I have to make a little effort, take a few minutes later and put the proper plug in it, and we'll see next time whether it sounds better than the Shure mobile mic. So, Gary, I have a comment about your bringing it up slowly. Yeah, any time you have a tube, a rectifier tube you're not going to get full conduction and emission, of course, as long as the filament voltage is not up to specifications. So you're better off in this case using a solid-state substitution, because this way it will start conducting as soon as it exceeds the junction voltage. So that's what I suggest. And I did several of these operations on some radios that I was bringing up slowly, and I always substituted it, and it starts working right away. And I was surprised, even realizing that usually about the plate voltage, like 50, 60, 70 volts, the thing starts to work, especially the older radios, not anything that has a lot of mixing in it and all that. But like, I brought up an Australian HRO type receiver that way, and it started to really play at about 65 volts or so, substituting the solid state. Without it, it wouldn't even start anything, not even a slight noise. So that's the news from here. So some reports, Lee, you were 35 to 40 overnight in your previous transmission, and Gary, you were a little bit weaker, but you were still doing a 10 to 20 dB overnight with QSB. Paul, good to hear you again here, and you were 5 to 20 overnight with pretty deep QSB. And Richard, you were 30 overnight, very nice audio as well. I have a 32V2 here that I have to change the low voltage transformer, which I have. I just didn't get to it several times. I used to use that on the old FenceNet quite a lot in previous years. One weekend I went away for a herding trial, and after using it, I left it on standby. By the time I came back, I started to smell tar. And this was one of the product transformers. The whole back of it was filled with molten tar, and the shelf was full of tar. So I assume just from being on standby that those transformers are pretty flimsy considering. And so I have to change it. Luckily, John K1BBC had a transformer that is not the potted kind. Collins used either potted and not potted, so I prefer the non-potted, just in case it will just stink, but not going to make a mess that took me hours to clean. With that, it goes to Lee. K4VWD, this is WF2.
Okay, Mir, very good. This is K4VWD. Well, first of all, Richard, I used to use a 32V3, but I've settled on that Valiant 2, and I prefer it to use it. I can't tell any difference in the way they sound. So, but you know why I like that 32V, that Valiant 2. I guess I used that thing for 20 years. It's a wonderful rig, I think. And let's see, Steve, on the power supply. Don't worry about the power supply. This one apparently is still working, but you can tell me whether I'm not sounding right or not, but it seems to be working okay, so I really don't need it. And I can get it at the next luncheon, which would be just fine. Save a trip. Don't think about driving all the way over here to Greenwood. So, thank you, Charlie, for doing the net. I appreciate it. I'm going to hang around for a little bit. So I'll send it back down to Paul, 85SX, K4VWD.
Okay, Lee, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Wow, it's been a really fun morning so far, and really appreciate K4VWD. Yeah, and nice copy this morning, 85SX. Let's see, what I'm looking for. Oh, 19/100ths of an inch of rain so far, and no thunder or lightning currently in the area. Hooray! And we're looking forward to a good day here, and I hope everyone does too, for sure. I've got the next station that I'm going to pass it to, and I'm not ready to do that, but you know, I'm not very good at picking up. I was having a hard time hearing. There's a lot of noise and stuff on the air here, and but I hope it's Whiskey 4 WAU, Richard. So that's what I've got written down. But anyway, right now we're pushing a whopping 300 watts or so, 350 maybe, and it's allowing me this. Getting on here is a real blessing because it's allowing me to use my rig and all the equipment and something I've never done before. I just wish I would have come across you guys, let's say 2-3 years ago when I was still back in New Mexico, where I had formidable inverted V's up all over the place out there in the desert. That would have been a fun time, but better making that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign at this point. I closed the door to the shack here, and that means don't bug me with honeydews, so I might have a pile of them waiting for me when I get out of here with my wife. It's, like I said, it's been really great for me, and I like the opportunity to get in here, and it's really neat to hear all the old stations. I'll probably listen out for a little while and then open the door quietly, and then she'll hear the noise and come in here with my assignments. 73 to all of you, and God bless all you and your families. And I look forward to Thursday morning. And let me go ahead and hopefully it's Richard, W4 Whiskey Uniform, 85SX. Over.
Yeah, Roger, Paul. Very good. Copy you much better that time than I did in times previous. So your signal sounds good. I can understand about moving and all. About 7 years. Well, prior to that, we had 35 acres and a lot of land to take care of. And when I was a young man, it was wonderful. And when I got to be about 72, which is I just turned 80, but I decided, this is not so wonderful after all. It's too much to take care of. So we downsized and moved over here 7 years ago. And I can identify with getting your station set back up and all that sort of thing. It was an exciting time of having a new place and being able to arrange your equipment a completely different way. Steve, I'll take you up. I'm going to tell you, they're building a new house across the street, and there's a dumpster over there. And if I can throw this 32V3 under one arm and carry it up 12 stairs upstairs across the street and then throw it in that dumpster easy, you can come get it. Of course, you know the 32V3 is hard to carry in two arms, and a lift table too. This thing is really, really heavy. But yeah, I'm enjoying using it. And Lee, I appreciate your comments on the Valiant 2. I think it's a wonderful rig too. I just wanted to compare. Those are my two main transmitters that I'm using right now. I've had a little bit of problem with the Globe King that I got from Joe. Got a hum in it real bad, and it's coming out of the modulator, so I haven't had time to work on that yet. Mayor, I can appreciate the burned up transformer. I was working one day on an SP600, and not too long ago, and I forgot, left it on like you did. Came back, and the whole house, as you know, smelled horrible. And the power transformer in that SP600 had shorted, evidently. And like you said, there was black tar all over the back of it. I discovered an alcohol, and I forgot what else I used. Would clean it up, though. And so it cleaned up all that excess tar without any trouble. So anyway, it's much better after that. It's over in the rack now after getting the replacement transformer, which I did have. And by the way, if any of you have SP600s, I have 2 parts radios. No power transformer in either one of them, but the rest of it's fairly complete. They're not in great shape, but at least they got the parts inside them. So if any of you are interested in one of those, just let me know. 7-3, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I've got some things to do, too. And good to hear everybody this morning. Signals are real good. George, you started off probably the strongest I've ever heard you, and then faded just about out by the time you came back that second time. So the band must be changing. You guys have a good afternoon and a good rest of the day, and I hope we don't get the real cold weather either, Charlie. So back to you, Charlie. 7-3 to everybody. It's W4WU.
Very good, Richard. W4WU and the old friends net. So we got time for a 73 round. We'll run through that real quick. Did I say W4? Let me see. I think I did. Anyway. If anybody, this is connected to Richard's story about the SP600. If any of you have seen the Mel Gibson movie Conspiracy Theory, he had this compulsion to any time he saw the book Catcher in the Rye, he had to buy it. And he had many copies of it in his apartment. Well, when it comes to SP600s, there's the equivalent of that character in the form of George, W4BUW, for some reason that if he sees an SP600, he has to buy it. And I don't know how many he has. I saw him buy 2 at Dayton one year, and because I carried them, and he said, I think Ron, OQL Ron, said he's got a shed and it's just full of them. So one of those deals where compelled to buy it, and I'm going to restore them all, but just one of those deals you can't get to. I got that HT50 also from N3BS there, Brian's buddy, and I haven't touched it yet for a lot of the same reasons I haven't got the ARC 13 on the air yet. Things are backed up, but I'll get there eventually. Thanks for everybody that checked in today, and we'll look for you again on Thursday. So let's do a 73 round with N4LQ. Did I say W4LQ? I really meant N4LQ, so I got it right this time. W4 music.
Well, I don't know. I thought you said N4LQ. Yeah, Richard, you don't have to take that to the dumpster. I've been practicing the art of levitation, and I'll be glad to come down there and just levitate that thing right into the bed of my pickup truck. Just let me know when you need some help. Anyway, I guess that's about it for us here this morning. It's been enjoyable, and hope you all have a great morning. 73s, and I'm not sure. I know George is gone, and I think Brian is still here, maybe. KN4R, N4LQ.
Okay, Steve, very good. N4LQ in the group, KN4R. I have also enjoyed the net today. All great signals, great rigs, and all that. So 73s to everybody. Have a great day. I think Buddy is gone, so I think I'll turn it to John, KZ4B. Take it away, John, KN4R.
Okay, Brian, KN4R in the group, KZ4 Bravo, fine business. Richard, I'm with you on the weight of a 32V3. My grandfather, W4SNI, had one, and every time it would break, I would have to go to his house and fix it because he was the age that I am now, and as I am now, he couldn't lift it. So I was young and strapping then, so I I had to work on it. And it's the greatest build quality of about any AM transmitter of its type on the planet. But it's heavy, and so I don't have any 32 V3s because my back can't handle it. But it is a great transmitter if you can manage to shuffle it around. Shifting gears, I wanted to throw out a comment on going solid state in a transmitter or receiver. I have observed through the years that if you put in a solid state rectifier substitute and the AC hum gets real high, all of a sudden, even though it wasn't that bad with a weak rectifier tube, that you need to change out the filter capacitors because the rectifier tube puts in a series resistance that sort of is a substitute for a choke. And that doesn't mean you don't go with a solid state rectifier, because that'll boost your voltage nicely if the unit can handle it. But it does point out that the filter capacitors need upgrading. So on that note, I'll say 73s. Thanks for calling the net, Charlie. It's been a good one today. And I'd rather be warm and cozy in here than out in the crud. So, let's see. That would mean that it needs to step on. If you're still in there, pick it up. If not, Mir, if he's there. NC4ON in the group, KZ4B, over.
This is WF2U. Ron, step on time, so I'm picking it up. Let me just give a pause just in case. Okay, I guess it's mine. Yeah, well, talking about solid state rectifiers, when I did that long gradual bringing up the voltage, and I used a substitute solid state rectifier. I didn't leave it in. Radios that have tubes for rectifiers, I don't change, except there is only one exception that I did that, and it's the 32V2, because of the flimsiness of the transformer, and they have a tendency to have a short life because of the heavy load from the rectifiers. And even without these rectifiers, just leaving it on standby, it eventually overheated and self-destructed. So that's the only. But I put actually calculated the voltage drop on the tube rectifiers, and I put a series resistor with each rectifier to have the same voltage drop as in the regular tube. So, anyway, thank you, buddy, for the audio report, and I guess I hear it from Steve's recording, and I've been using the Shure mic almost on everything in the beginning until I went a dedicated microphone. And, I have several adapters that I made for various standard microphone jacks, and so I can put basically every microphone with a full quarter-inch plug into any other transmitter. Anyway, thanks Charlie for running the net this morning. It's Thursday, it's still very, very cold. I'm not going to go out to the farm to walk the sheep and the dogs. So I'll be on the net. What else did I want to say? Just about that. So have a good afternoon, everybody. Take care, and a good week. Keep warm when it's chilly. And it goes to Lee. You were booming in here like really. You were still holding up to about 40 dB over 19. 73 all, and take care. But I'll listen to the end of the net. K4VWD. This is WFTU.
Okay, Mir, thank you. This is K4VWD. And Steve, reach for your microphone. Does this power supply sound all right? And you bring it back to the next luncheon. Is that okay with you? N4LQ, K4VWD.
Yeah, you sound okay. You got just a little bit of hum, but it's just typical of the Elmacs. But this thing, I put an extra choke in the high voltage, and it is really, really clean now. So anyway, I'm anxious to hear you on it. I'll wait unless somebody just happens to show up that's heading your way, or if I have to run down that way for some reason, Lee. Okay?
All right, very good. Well, I'm glad it sounds all right. I'm sorry about the hum. But we'll talk further about that. Because I can bring this power supply too. I don't have anything else. I'll say 7-3. God bless. Thank you, Steve, for all you do for me. Thank you, Charlie, for doing the net. And Gary, if you're still there, I'm going to turn it to you. If not, it'll go to Paul. So K3OS in the group, K4VWD, and so long to everybody. I guess it's yours, Paul.
I guess, I think he left. So let's see. Paul, you still with us? 85 SXW for me. How about Richard? W4W, you gone too? That reminds. W4AC. Okay, I know when I'm not loved. So, thanks for everybody that checked in today. We'll look for you on Thursday, and I hope the weather guessers are wrong. And it's a balmy 80 degrees, and we're all in the pool. We'll find out. 7-3 all. We'll see you later. W4MEC, shutting down the old friend's net. Bye-bye.
Charlie, I'd like to throw out a comment on the Elmac AC hum problem. Over.
Have at it.
Okay. With modern electrolytic capacitors, they have shrunk the size to such a great degree that you can go to a much higher value capacitor than in the old days and stuff it in the 1070 power supply that doesn't have much room in it. And of course, when you increase the capacity, you also jack the voltage. And if you still have any hum, you can add a more series resistance and get it back down to the 500-ish volts that the stock power supply has. And between those two modifications, it'll kill the hum. And without necessarily having to go to a choke transformer that takes up too much room. They couldn't shrink the choke, but they shrunk the capacitor. 73's all. KZ4, be clear.